Everything you've always wanted to know about real estate, but you just weren't sure who to ask. Today we have a wonderful lineup with Enzo Morales with W.J. Bradley. We also have Megan Orvis with Windermere Homes and Estates. And we have Alicia Galiegos, who is with Two Men and a Truck. Well, hi Enzo, how are you today?
I'm doing great, thank you for having me.
Absolutely, thanks for coming on the show. So tell me, Enzo, what made you choose mortgages as a career?
When I was 25 years old, I bought my first home. I was referred to a specific lender and I chose to find my own instead. So unfortunately, the person that I found was less than ethical and ended up doing a bit of a bait and switch. Did a little number on me, if you will. And after doing extensive research after I'd already bought the home, because I ended up buying it anyway with, the mortgage that I ended up getting, I realized that it was a high trust relationship that I really needed to establish with the lender. Really put a lot of emphasis on that in order to get the product that I was looking for. So in my research, I ended up finding who ended up being my manager at the time, and he recruited me, and it gave me the opportunity to help people, and at the same time, it's a great profession, and now I've been doing it for 12 years.
That's so interesting. You kind of took a bad situation and it became your career.
That's exactly what it was. It was one of those sour notes in life, and then all of a sudden we saw the silver lining, and I was fortunate enough to get into the industry, and here I am.
Wonderful. Now tell me, what makes you different, I guess, to your clients?
Every client that I work with, I try to do my best, to the best of my ability, and as my experience has grown in the business, my abilities grow as well. So I use the knowledge, the tools, and any of the resources that we have on hand to be able to advise the client on what they should be doing with regards to their mortgage and their debt structure. We work with them hand in hand during the purchase process, and then after they own the home, we continue to stay in touch with them in case there's ever an opportunity to either help them save additional funds, or if as their life changes and their needs change, we're there to try to help them in supporting them with their mortgage needs.
Absolutely. Now, do you have any unique or niche products?
I think from a unique standpoint, we have a large gamut of products that we are able to choose from. We have 12 different bank lines or correspondent lines that we utilize, as well as I think it's 13 or 14 different broker sources that we work with. So we have asset dissipation, we work with retirement, we work extensively with veterans, first-time buyers, and then we do a lot of the down payment assistance programs that are available throughout the county.
Wonderful. Okay, so you're out there, I'm sure you've seen every situation in the book. What's the biggest mistake that you're seeing buyers making when it comes to loans?
I think with the environment that we're in today, we're almost halfway through 2014, rates have been moving around. A lot of people are on the sidelines waiting for rates to drop back down to where they were maybe 12 months ago. I don't know if that's a reality, and I think that a lot of people are playing the waiting game on the rates and are being priced out of the market because values are going incrementally upwards as the year goes by. We're seeing growth in the 5 to 10% range depending on which part of the county that you're in. So while people are waiting for this magical rate to reappear, they're realizing that the home they could have bought 3 months ago for $400,000 is now being priced at $465,000 simply because things are warming up, they're heating up again. So my whole thing is trying to manage expectations with regards to rates, finding the best opportunity we can for them from that standpoint, but also emphasizing that values are on the rise and we want them to take advantage of these lower prices while they're still available.
Yeah, I mean, I hear the same thing out there, and how do you think we're going to get this in people's heads that the rates aren't going to go back down again like they did, previously? Is it just education? What do you do to really let your clients know, today is a good time to buy?
Education is a big part of it. One of the things that we do is we continuously post mortgage updates on our blog. We refer that out to our clients. We send that out to them to make sure that they understand that the rate environment that we saw 12 months ago is probably not going to happen. The Fed has already said that they're going to taper down on their bond buying program, and that in itself is going to have an upward trend for rates. So the education part of it is a big piece. Making sure that the communication channels are open between the borrower and the mortgage lender, the loan officer. Making sure that communication is happening, because a lot of people just make the phone call, pre-qualify, and don't really realize that even though they're pre-qualified at a rate of 4% or 4.25, that as they're looking for their home, rates may be fluctuating. So is making sure that they're touching base. Hey, how are things going? What does my payment look like based on today's rates? that sort of thing is always really important for those first-time buyers. So, you know, keeping them on track in that sense.
All right. Okay, as we wrap up, what would you say the most top 3 important things would be before buying a home?
Number one, make sure that you know what you're getting yourself into from a financial standpoint, as far as the mortgage structure, the amount of debt that you'll be carrying. Number 2, working with the right real estate agent. That's key. The real estate agent that you end up partnering with is somebody you have to have a high degree of trust for, and you have to, you know, be cognizant of what it is that they're doing, and that their competency levels are there. And lastly is making sure that the place that you buy is the place that you're going to be happy living in, because after all the dust settles and the realtor goes away and the mortgage lender goes away and the escrow is actually closed, you're the one who's going to be sitting there making the payments. So make sure it's the right place for you.
Absolutely. And that brings me to a quick question. So what do you think about when people are buying nowadays? It seems like in the past people have bought from an investment standpoint. Okay, in a couple years I can refinance this, or I can buy something else. But now are you seeing people more so buying for lifestyle? Like, this is the place where I could see myself staying for long term, raising my family. Maybe they want to live by the beach, so they buy a place toward the beach. Do you see that more so than maybe a few years ago?
I think a few years ago people were, okay, they sensed that it was the bottom of the market and they wanted to get in while they could and maybe leverage some level of growth for future opportunities. I think the folks that are buying now, we have a lot more people listing their homes into a move-up situation where maybe they started with a smaller home and now they want to move into something bigger because their family have grown or circumstances, whatever the case. But we are seeing that. I'm a big endorser of that sort of a situation. Is like, get what you want. You know, make sure that whatever it is that you're targeting is something that you're going to be happy with in the long run, because you never know what's going to happen with the market. Market may go up, market may go down. You want to make sure that whatever it is that you're tied to is something that, you know, brings you a certain level of gratification when you come home every day.
Absolutely, I agree. Well, thanks so much, Enzo. All the information was amazing. Next up, we have Megan Orvis with Windermere's Home and Estates. Hello, and now we are lucky enough to be joined by Megan Orvis with Windermere Homes and Estates. Hi, Megan. How are you?
I'm great, Angie. How are you?
Good. So tell me the burning question, what made you decide to become a realtor?
Real estate was a natural choice for me. My mother and I have been partners for 15 years, and she's been a realtor since 1982. So I feel like I sort of learned by osmosis through the years. You know, I helped her with her farming. I understand the business. And as an adult, when I graduated from college, I have a degree in business and started thinking about, what do I want to do? What am I passionate about? I love real estate. I love Rancho Bernardo. I love San Diego. And what better job than to sell real estate and homes to people who want to make a life here.
Wonderful. So tell me, how are you different than other realtors?
I think first and foremost, obviously I work with my mother, so people already have a trust there because they know that we're experienced and that we listen. Another thing that we do that I think makes us different is we know what our specialties are, what our areas of specialty are. And one thing, when we take a listing, we always use a stager, always. And I should probably define that for you, because staging, people think we bring in a bunch of furniture. What we do is we bring in a designer who, you know, we don't live in our homes the way we sell our homes, and that is a distinction that people need to know. And it's also good insulation when we bring in a stager, because it says it's not us saying that something's not right about a home, but it's just saying we want to put your best foot forward from first step. And I think that makes us different, because that is part of it. We do not charge for that. It's part of our marketing, and I think that makes us different.
That's wonderful. I haven't heard that before, and I firmly agree that, yeah, staging is very important. Okay, so you've been telling me about escrows for education. What made you start this? What is it? How did it come to fruition?
Okay, I'm about as local as they come, because I have been in Poway Unified School District. I will name them specifically because that is our district here where we primarily work. But I was K through 12 through Poway Unified, and when people think about San Diego, for example, when I go out into, let's say, out of state, and they say, where are you from? If I say I'm from Rancho Bernardo, I'm from Poway, people have no idea what I'm talking about. I say I'm from San Diego, they get that. However, when people relocate to San Diego or when they look to buy a home in San Diego, many times people look at the school districts. And there's no secret that our Poway Unified School District is top notch. So I like to give back. It's something we believe in because that drives our market. It makes us successful. It keeps people wanting to move here. So why not support the schools? I'm the foundation president for Westwood Elementary School, and foundations are nonprofit, 501c3 nonprofit organizations that raise money for the schools to bridge that gap between what the schools need to keep them competitive and what the government actually gives them. And what I've done is taken a word of mouth program where I give back to the schools with each closing that has a family or one of their referrals involved. I give back to the schools with each closing, and it's that simple. But what I've done is take a word of mouth program and create a brand around that says, hey, this is who I am. I give back to the schools because they're important to me. And it satisfies the parent in me, the foundation president in me that knows that it's a good program, and the businesswoman that knows, hey, I want to give back to the schools, but obviously I need to generate a business to be able to give back to the greatest extent.
Absolutely. Now tell me, I was reading one of the circumstances that you were in, you I think had donated an iPad or something like that for an auction item.
Yes.
And you realized that the amount of money you spent buying the iPad, you got less for it in the auction.
Yes,
so you
perfect.
figured, why don't I just donate the money to the school so they get more out of it? And I was really kind of taken back by that. Like, that is so true.
Yeah, it's a perfect example. Yeah, I donated a Kindle, actually. I spent about $200 on that Kindle. The school made $120. So again, foundation president in me says, great, $120 for a school, awesome. You know, as a buyer at an auction, I'm like, Kindle for $120, awesome. But as a business owner, I'm thinking, wow, I just spent $200 for a school to get $120. So a very natural way to do this is to say, hey, I could give you $150. I get 25%, they get 25% more, and I spend 25% less, and I can do more for the schools.
Absolutely. So escrows for education, so how does it work? So someone does a deal with you, escrow closes, and then you go ahead and make the donation to the school, or?
Basically what I'm doing here, and this is just as a business model, marketing money. Where do you want to spend your money? Do you want to farm a neighborhood of strangers just because they're in a geographic spot and be a specialist? No, I don't. We do farming. I shouldn't say we don't do it. We absolutely do it. We cast a net. But this is something I'm passionate about. So the way that this works is I'm looking for opportunities. Basically, I just want a chance to interview for a job. And I'd like for the schools to understand that if I get that job through working with a family or a referral, grandparents need to move. Certainly have plenty of places to move the grandparents. Even out of state, I could refer. But the point is that if I get an opportunity and when I get that job, at closing I will donate money. I should also mention that I have a couple other things within my program. It's got some moving parts to it. But the schools at the end of the year that do give me the most opportunities, the top 3 schools will also get donations made, because I feel like I need to, I don't know the word.
Show your appreciation.
Yeah, I just feel like you need to reinforce the behavior. If someone's giving me an opportunity to get a job, I love that. I want to reinforce that. If I don't get the job, hey, that's on me. Mm-hmm. So I just want an opportunity to interview and do some business and give some money to the schools.
It's a win-win situation.
Absolutely.
So tell me quickly, Megan, as we wrap up, how would someone find out more about escrows for education or contact you?
Well, I have a escrowsforeducation.com, and it's escrows with the number 4.com, and you can go there and register and say what their favorite schools are, what they would elect to, and just get some more information there about kind of the inner workings of the program. Awesome,
exciting stuff. Next up, we have Alicia Sorber Galiegos with 2 men and a truck. Hello, and now we are joined with Alicia Sorber Galiegos with 2 men and a truck. Hi, Alicia, how are you?
Hi, great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I'm so excited you're here today. I've heard of your company, but tell me, what is 2 men and a truck?
Well, 2 Men and a Truck is a local full-service moving company. And we really focus on customer service. So we really do what the customer needs us to do, whether that's packing an entire home and moving it or just helping with a little bit. We customize our services to meet the customer's needs. And we are a franchise, so that allows us to have some of the benefits of a larger company, better training, better resources, but at the same time we're locally owned and operated and very involved in our local community.
Awesome. And I think you had mentioned before that you're the only franchise in Southern California?
That's right. We are the first location here in San Diego and the first in Southern California, and there's over 260 locations throughout the US. So
amazing.
First in the area.
So how did you start your company?
Well, that's a funny story. So I actually grew up around the brand. My dad and my uncle started Two Men and a Truck as a summer job, and they left for school, for college, and my grandma grew the company. She began franchising it. And like I mentioned today, there's over 260 locations in the US, Ireland, the UK, Canada. So it's something in my blood, I guess.
Wow, so your dad and uncle started the company, took
Yes.
off to college, and then your grandma kind of ran it.
Yep, the logo
That is
was
so interesting.
drawn by my grandmother on a napkin. So
Wow, definitely
Yeah.
grew up in the brand. So you grew up there and then you moved out to Southern California and just decided to open your own franchise, or how did that kind of all work out?
yes. My husband and I were living in Chicago, and I was actually working as the marketing manager for a group of franchisees. And we decided that we wanted to come out and pack all of our stuff up, drive out, open a new store together. And so we run the business together. We wanted to find a great place to live, a great market, and San Diego was that. And Two Men and a Truck is very different than what I've seen out here already, so we really felt like it would be a great opportunity.
Absolutely. Well, I don't think you'll ever have a shortage of people moving to San Diego.
No.
Okay, well that kind of brings me to my next question. What makes you different from other moving companies?
I think the biggest difference is really our focus on customer service. We have a set of core values, and one of those is the grandma rule, and that means to treat each customer the way you'd want your own grandmother to be treated. So as a woman, I know that having someone come into your home and work, you want to make sure that you feel comfortable. So all of our movers are drug tested, they're background checked, there are employees who are trained by us in our facility with real furniture. They're in a full uniform so that as a customer, your mind is at ease. And then we also make sure that the customer has a great experience. We follow up with each customer. After the move, our customers receive a customer satisfaction survey, and more than 96% of our customers say that they would refer us to a family member or friend. And we're really proud of that.
Wow, yeah, making grandma proud. So the real estate market, since this is a real estate show, how does the real estate market affect your business?
Well, moving and real estate are very closely linked, just naturally, because each person who is buying or selling a home tends to be also relocating their belongings. So we definitely see our peak season during the same time sales are at their peak. And that usually is May to September. So we really feel that bump when real estate is hot. But with that said, we can also outperform our industry. Two Men and a Truck has had 52 months of record growth, although the real estate industry has really had taken a hit a couple years ago. So we can still outperform it, but we definitely feel that that seasonality that comes with the real estate market.
Wow, that sounds amazing that you guys have had that growth. And you think it just goes back to those core values and that customer service?
I think so. I mean, we've really always had that customer service piece as a focus. If you're doing that and taking care of the customer, I don't see how you can go wrong. I mean, we really have, by putting the customer first, it just naturally takes care of the rest.
Yeah.
People refer you to their friends and family. They see your trucks on the road. Yeah, I think that all ties in together to and has made us successful.
I agree, absolutely. So now tell me your top 3 tips for a successful move. I know that moving sometimes is very overwhelming and very stressful. So what would be your top 3 tips to kind of lessen that level of stress, I guess?
Sure. I would start with finding a reputable company. A great place to start is family members, friends. Ask them who they've used. Were they happy with them? So that's a great place to start. From there, check out the Better Business Bureau. Make sure that they're well rated and that they haven't had major complaints. The California Moving and Storage Association can be a great resource too. They can let you know if that company is licensed and insured, which is extremely important. So starting there, the company that's maybe the cheapest hourly rate doesn't always end up being the less expensive choice in the end. You want to choose right the first time. And then really reaching out as soon as you know that you're moving. You might not have a date in mind, but it's good to start that process early because then you can compare companies, see who you feel comfortable with, and make sure that you understand their policies. Especially when you're buying or selling a home, you need the closing date can change. You need to know if there's a cancellation fee or what their policy is for rescheduling. So if you're doing that in advance, then you have a little bit more time to make sure that you get the day that you want, the company that you want. And then the third tip I would say, and it goes back again to the others, is being prepared in packing. So if you are doing the packing, start in the areas that you know you're not going to need. You might not need your formal china between now and move date. Start there so that you aren't overwhelmed right at the end. They all tie together. It's about preparedness. So the more prepared that you can be, the smoother your move will go.
Absolutely. Well, it sounds like prepare is the key word there.
Yep.
Thanks so much, Alicia, for coming on, and thank all of you for tuning in. If you're interested in being a featured expert, go to oakwooDTV.tv. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.